Hello, welcome to the third iteration of the Information Timeline series. Today we're going to be talking about government information. So hello, I am Kim Luby, and I am here because I know you can find information from the government on your topic. And you can find me at kluby@uncc.edu. So first off, blanket statement, no matter what your opinion is of who is in power, past or present, the people who collect and create the information provided from the government have degrees and experience in that specialty, and that makes it information in general reliable. So an example, I have a friend who works for the FDA. She tests things that come from different crop fields, and she is a chemist. She has a background in chemistry. So you can trust that the work that she is doing is going to be, in general, very reliable. Our agenda for today is first, we're going to talk about the background on government information, followed by using GovInfo, and I'm going to use that just as a short for government information because that is a long phrase to say over and over. And third, finding GovInfo. So background, like I said, government information in the library world is often known as GovInfo. It's just an easier way of shortening. So history on government information is what I want you to know is this thing called the FDLP. And this stands for the Federal Depository Library Program. And this was a bill that was passed in 1813 that said that certain government documents, which were a lot, should be freely available to the public. And where else to put them but in libraries? Because I think in general, you can trust librarians to not destroy documents. We like to keep and preserve things. So think though, back in 1813, libraries, they're not everywhere as they are today. There's probably still going to be in just major cities, and not everyone lived near a major city, but this was the best they could do. So why was it important to make this information free and available? So you want to think 1813, that's 40-ish years since 1776, and we all know what happened in 1776. So you can think that we've still got a lot of history in our minds of the British, or a lot of memories of the British monarchy that we just did not trust. So we knew that if we wanted to have a quality democracy, that we needed to have informed and trusting citizens. And the best way to get that was having this information. And if we want to have good leaders, we have to have informed citizens so that they can vote and vote well. So some sample government agencies in general, if there is anything that is happening in this country, there is a government agency that covers it. So some big ones that I have named here, we've got health, and I'm sure you'll recognize some of these. The CDC, Center for Disease Control, the NIH, National Institutes of Health, the FDA. Then there's education, there's the National Endowment for the Humanities. Immigration, we are aware of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, as well as Citizenship and Immigration Services. Laws and legislation, we know the FBI, the CIA. Science, most of us have heard of the NSF, the National Science Foundation, and then literally everything else. If it exists, there's a government agency that covers it. So what is the publication process for government information? We know that we've talked about already with social media that there's not much of a process. We've talked about the news that there's kind of a process, but it's still pretty limited. And we'll learn more about publication processes next in academic journal articles as well as books. So with the government, basically you write it, it might go through some editing, and then it's published by the government printing office, or hit send, or it just, goes up online. I'm honestly not entirely sure what the publication process is for government information on websites, which is where we get most of our GovInfo now. But also don't forget that even though we have organized information on websites that are run by government agencies, we still have people working for the government who are putting information out on social media. So that's why I hit that, or put in that just, or hit send. That, we have the president has social media, We've got all of our senators, our governors, our local councilmen and women. They still have social media accounts where they're putting out information. So it's kind of all over the place and depends on what is being published. So how can I use GovInfo? What information is here? So some little bit background on the information is, excuse me, first off, it's very easy to read. Government websites, they want everyone to be able to read it, and you may not know this, but the average reading level in the United States is a 5th grade reading level. So that means that the government websites are going to be very easy to read. They're going to write in a way that as many people can understand it as possible because they want everyone to be able to understand it. Government websites are also going to give a lot of background on the topic. They're going to assume that not everyone is super educated on that topic, so they're going to provide lots of context and background. And it's going to be a lot of statistics. So I know you want statistics for your project. Trust me, I know this. And this is going to be the easiest way to find them because one of the biggest things that the government collects is data. So how do I find government information? Spoiler, it's so easy. You literally just Google it. And I'm going to tell you how to Google it. So where do I go? Google. So to look for something from the government, it must have a .gov ending. And I'm going to show you in a bit how to find that. If you want to still use the library, it's on the 3rd floor of Atkins. I don't usually recommend this unless you really know what you're looking for, because some documents are just, they're hard to find, they're in binders, it's easier to Google it. But also though, if you're searching through the library homepage, which we haven't talked about a whole lot yet, but will in the later videos in this series, that you will see some government documents show up in the basic library search. And finally, you can go to C-SPAN. If you really want to watch what the government is doing, you can always just tune to it on your little cable television and watch what they're doing on the floor. So let's talk about that .gov ending. All USA government websites will have a .gov ending, and only government agencies can use that ending. So you cannot make a website and have .gov. I cannot make a website and have .gov. So I'm going to take a moment here to explain the 5 most common endings in the United States. Is we have .com, .net, and .org, and then .gov and .edu. And yes, there are more coming. We're seeing a lot more endings, but these are still the big 5. So .com, .org, and .net are all freely available to the public. Anyone can use them, and you do not have to be in business to use a .com ending. You do not have to be a non-government organization to use the .org ending. Many of them often do, but it does not lend credibility to anything. Anyone can make those. And same with .net. We don't see that as common. Mostly .com and .org. .gov and .edu are restricted to .gov, government, and .edu, educational. So if you see those endings, you know that you are at either a government website or an educational website. Anything else is just, it is open to everyone. So how do I find these? Again, remember how I said it's going to be just super easy? So all you need to do is search your topic, which I've put in food insecurity here, and the added keyword government publication. And you could also use like government website, government document. I just put in publication, and by adding that, it's telling Google that I'm looking for some sort of organized, like published report on what I want to know. So here I have found, look at my results. I have USDA.gov, USDA.gov, and then healthypeople.gov. Great, I've got all .gov endings, and it looks like they're all on food insecurity because that is what I searched. We've got household food security, food insecurity. Perfect, just what I needed. So I clicked on the healthypeople.gov, and that took me to the page on food insecurity. And you can see, you can go ahead and read about it below, but if you see on that middle bar up here in the gray, and I put in a box around data search to let you to search for data. Remember how I talked about how it has statistics? Perfect. This website is already leading me straight to where that data is, and I can search for what information is available there. So to sum up on how to find a government source, all you need to do is search with government publication, report, data. You can also use document. Government will tell Google, or at least help Google get you to a .gov ending, and then publication, report, or data will help you get to a page that has organized information on it. And that's it. It is that easy. If you have any questions on getting to government information, you can find me at Atkins Library and at kluby.uncc.edu.